What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal, Hey Archer. Welcome back to Nerd Affiliated. You are here for an exciting unboxing video. Yes, I'm pretty sure you've not seen any unboxing videos for either of these three figures. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is my second time recording this video. Mike's died on the first one. So here we go. I'm going to really talk about Hasbro and NECA in this video. So this would be more of a toy discussion. Hasbro and NECA released these two sets of figures I didn't think we'd get this year. I didn't think I wanted this year, but here we are. And I actually have some good things to say about them, but maybe not the companies. Intro. All right. Welcome back. As you can see, I'm still not properly set up. So I have this candle here to distract you as I'm doing this video. Of course, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell to get notified anytime a new video drops here on the channel. On the bingo card of 2024, I did not expect to be getting a Deadpool figure. Straight up. Didn't think I'd be getting a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and I sure did not think I was getting a Tatsu. We'll talk about that one later. But here we have Deadpool. My first Deadpool purchase. I like Deadpool, the movie, but I'm not the biggest Deadpool guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not the biggest Deadpool guy. But I saw this in stores, had to pick it up. So let's take a look at this figure. All right, so here we have Deadpool outside the box, and I gotta admit, I'm pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was great. I'm kind of over the Deadpool gimmick. I think I'm just over the Ryan Reynolds gimmick, to be honest. Did I say gimmick or gimmick? Gimmick. It's, he's just himself now in movies, just like The Rock is himself in movies now. Somebody last week pointed out how Denzel's kind of just Denzel in movies now. But here we are with Deadpool. And this is a fun figure. I gotta admit, textures are really good. Comes with nice accessories. You got extra hands here. Comes with two sets of guns, two swords. When I recorded this the first time, I actually thought it was missing a knife that goes in this holster here. But in doing a re-record, and as I was cleaning up, I noticed that the knife was actually in the box. So pretty excited about that. But the figure itself, and credit to Hasbro, is really good. Nice textures on it. Nice accessories. It maybe could have had another head sculpt, but really, do you need one? Yes, no, I don't know. Like, that's kind of up to you. I'm not the Deadpool guy. But this one's actually a win. And I know some people were saying this was not an essential pickup for your Marvel Legends collection. I would disagree. I think this is essential if you don't have a Deadpool figure. Not sure what my finger was doing there. I forgot what I was saying at that point in this video. But this is a really good Deadpool figure. It's a good movie figure. It can also go in your more comic display if that's what you have. But at the same time, do I think I need another Deadpool figure after this point? No, I don't. So if you have an old Deadpool figure that still pinned, terrible articulation, this is a nice upgrade. If you don't have any Deadpool figure and you're building out your Marvel collection, Aaron, Anthony, I would pick this one up. It's a fun figure, cool accessories, good posability, good accessories, and I will be doing some repaints on this. Going to weather the suit, add some golds. It's going to be fun. So stay tuned for that here on the channel. But why don't we take a look at his partner in crime, Mr. Wolverine. So, this figure here, like I said, I've said that now 3 times probably this video. I'm going to say it a 4th time. Like I said, going into this year, did I think I'd be purchasing a Hugh Jackman Wolverine figure? No. I sure did not think I was going to get a Deadpool figure. But did I even remotely think I would be getting an amazing Hugh Jackman head sculpt in this year? Absolutely not. Who would have randomly thought that? Maybe you did. But this head sculpt, holy shit. This is by far the best human head sculpt from an actual actor Marvel Legends has put out. Close second, I was actually just talking about it yesterday with the boys. And at that, up until yesterday or up until today, I thought it was the best one. Robert Downey Jr. from the Iron Man Thanos 2-pack. That one's absolutely amazing. That one's Robert Downey, no question about it. And actually, I'm going to show a figure pretty soon here that is really good too. But this one is number one. I don't think anybody looks at this and doesn't think it's Hugh Jackman. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Now, what's interesting is it comes with a masked head. The goatee doesn't really match up here, or the chin part of the facial hair doesn't really match up. I'm going to customize that too at some point. But you have this really great masked head sculpt. And then you have this amazing maskless head sculpt. And I feel like on your display, you're probably not going to have the maskless head sculpt. Like I feel Wolverine on display in the yellow suit, you kind of need the masked head sculpt. So it's interesting that Hasbro did this. In a way, I'm actually happy, because if I was scumbag Hasbro, I would have released this figure no maskless option, only had the maskless option with that like bar scene, Hugh Jackman, and then made you buy both. But they were nice, and they gave us this one. So I don't feel like I need to buy the other one. But this is great. Amazing. Just like with the Deadpool, great textures, good articulation. Doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but he doesn't need to. Comes with the extra head and a set of hands that don't have the claws out. Now, this figure has been getting some heat online. And one of the reasons I noticed was people complaining about the hips on this thing. And I see it now that I'm looking at this video and talking to all of you. I don't think it's really that big a deal. I really don't think it's that big a deal. I think the more egregious thing here is the fact that it came with sleeves. Because in the movie, when he has the suit on, as the movie progresses, he loses the sleeves. And that is definitely the more iconic look to him when we're talking about the movie, especially when he finally puts the mask on. So I think if Hasbro could have done something differently, it would have been to release this without sleeves. But again, if you don't have a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, this is an amazing pickup. Civilian clothes or not. This is amazing. However, unlike Deadpool, I don't think this is a definitive Wolverine. Like if you're only going to have one Wolverine on your display, I think all things considered, I don't think this is it. Personally, for me, it's the animated series one, but maybe you don't have a connection to that, and this one is yours. So, up to you. Up to you. But I do want to correct the sleeve issue. And what people have been doing is buying older Wolverine figures and doing an arm swap. But I don't have older Wolverine figures, and I don't want to spend $25 on an older figure for the sake of taking the arms off. So I'm going to bring in another Aussie that's in the Marvel Universe, and that is Chris Hemsworth. This is I call it Big Trouble in Little China Thor. Love and Thunder utterly pissed me off because I loved the look of this figure when it was announced. I loved that this was a look going into the movie. I thought he would be wearing this costume or just clothes for most of the movie, and he didn't. The movie came out, was trash. I will forever not like Taika for that. And I love Taika. Different conversation. But I love this figure. I think I could probably get another one for cheap at this point because the movie's just so hated. So I'm going to take the arms off of this and put it on Wolverine. Since I've recorded this the first time, I've actually done it. Here's a picture. I'm going to do more customizations down the road with this figure, so I'll go into that. But initially I was hesitant. I thought the arms were too long on Thor, but hey, I think it actually came out pretty good. And I'll explain how I did it in another video. But let's talk about Hasbro in general here. JB was on the show this past week, JB's Toy Trunk, and I came to a conclusion that we were, as a fan base, as a community, harsh on Hasbro, specifically in the Marvel Legends department and definitely in Star Wars. We've been pretty harsh the last 2 years, I would say. And I think this year, the Marvel Legends team has really turned it around. I feel like their backs were against the wall, especially coming out of the Engine of Vengeance failure, and they really started turning things around. Now, something they did with this wave, and it has now happened on the new Captain America wave, is releasing movie figures or a movie wave in sets of 3. Now, they talked about it with the Captain America set. You have Falcon, Captain America, and Red Hulk. But they didn't really talk about it with this wave. At least I don't remember seeing anything about it. And I hope this is a trend going forward. Because if you can release a wave that's only 3 figures, for one, our wallets would appreciate it, especially if you're a completist. But 2, if that allows them to put more money into these figures and give us all pinless, great textures, great paint apps, these amazing head sculpts, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Do it. Continue to do it. We'll love you for it. The only thing I'm going to give Hasbro an L on this past year is something I actually want them to do, and they did. And that is create a cheaper option HasLab. Actually, in a way, they got rid of the HasLab. We had the Giant Man that was last year, 2023. Was in people's hands this year, 2024. But they left the HasLab title and did 2 different, I'm going to say crowdfunds, but not really. It was just like limited time pre-orders. One was Dragon Man, could care less. The other one was the Sentinel, something I really wanted. I didn't end up getting the Sentinel. I couldn't bring myself to spend $175 on a single figure that should be army built. I'll forever now hate Kyle Peterson because I saw his Titan review of the Sentinel, the one that was like $25. Because of that, I mentally thought it was just trash. And while it was on sale for Black Friday for a limited time for like $12, I missed out on a chance of buying a bunch of those Titan figures and customizing them the way that Ken can build it, Ken can do it, or whatever. I would have done a bunch of those. So, damn you, Kyle Peterson. Kidding. I love you. But Hasbro, I think, really turned things around this year. They did things people liked. People will always complain. But I feel like the quality of the figures, especially these movie figures, definitely has improved. And going into 2025, I think Hasbro actually will continue on this trend. They did a live stream last week. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for more of the Spider-Man anime series figures coming out. But I'll talk about my favorite release of the year in another video. So make sure you guys are subscribed for that. But based on what we got here in hand with these 2 figures, I'm giving Hasbro this past year B+. B+. Big improvement from last year. Keep going with it. If this is the type of releases we're going to be getting, I'm excited for it. And I'm not going to lie. I will buy that Falcon figure. I actually think it looks great. I'm going to wait for sale prices, though. Unless the movie's great. If the movie ends up being amazing, I'll pick it up. But as far as these figures here, these are pickups. Ignore the haters talking about the hips on Wolverine. Ignore the haters talking about, oh, do we need another Deadpool and Wolverine figure? You do you. These are great. B+ for Hasbro on the year. Let's move on to the figure I was hunting for hard the last couple months. And I finally got it. Let's talk about Tatsu. So ironically, this is the last figure we're going to review this year. And maybe the last figure I buy from NECA altogether. It's probably a lie. But at the moment, that's how I feel. And the reason it's also ironic is the NECA TMNT line, specifically the 1990 movie NECA figures, are why you're watching this channel right now. Most likely. The whole toy hunting, toy customizations, toy discussions, everything literally started off of an image of Leo and Raph that I thought was a still from the movie. Turned out to be the NECA 1990 figures. And I was immediately hooked, began toy hunting, and here we are today. NECA has made the best Ninja Turtle figures around. I will admit I'm biased because the 1990 movie is my definitive version of the Turtles. But I think even if you are an animated fan, They make some of the best figures. And another thing that NECA has really landed is the human head sculpts of the characters from that movie. Now, Tatsu is a figure, I alluded to this earlier. If you'd asked me if I'd be getting a Tatsu in my hand this year, I'd say no. If you asked me at the beginning of the year. If you had asked me last year if would I be getting Tatsu in the next 10 years, I'd say debatable. Because the actor's family, I don't know if the actor's still alive, I'll put it on screen if he is, but the actor's family allegedly has been rejecting all offers to create this figure and use the actor's likeness. So because of that reason, I just never thought we'd get this figure. But now that we have it, and they gave us the amazing packaging, we got it. To me, it's a nice bow on the 1990 movie collection, because this is everybody I need. The Danny figure that came out a while back, to me, is trash. Nobody liked Danny in the movie anyway. I have Shredder, Casey, April, Tatsu, 4 turtles, boom. And for my Soto set, I have a Kino, of course. But this figure, single joint, nothing crazy, standard NECA stuff, but soft goods. Soft good clothing on this one. On the back, there's a plastic piece that shows the Foot Clan symbol. Actually looks really good. And I at first I was like, why would they make that plastic if the rest of it's cloth? But it actually, to me, holds its position, works out. I like it. This figure, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. A nice bow on the year and a nice bow on my NECA TMNT 1990 collection. And the reason I say that is tied to how I feel about NECA as we close out this year. NECA found a way to create the best turtle figures, but also found a way to almost like kill the line themselves. And I don't know what the solution would have been. They gave us the characters we wanted, best versions, and that was it. As time went on, we all kind of found out that the love for SO2 Secret of the Ooze isn't really there. And something we would have probably, if you were a gambling person, predicted. The third movie, not loved by many people. Those figures shelf formed. So you saw SO2 figures, Secret of the Ooze, the second movie. You saw those figures shelf form. You saw the Turtle 3 figures shelf form. And eventually, at a certain point, the 1990 figures also shelf form. So I don't know what led to, especially the 1990 movie stuff shelf forming, but the figures essentially in the Turtle live action movie stuff, I feel like it's kind of run its course, unfortunately. And I don't know a solution to that. But I will say I do have a solution for NECA as a whole. As a whole. Right now, NECA has made some of the most ridiculous decisions. And by the most ridiculous, I mean like literally the worst decisions I've ever seen from a company. If you haven't watched the videos I've dropped on that, feel free to check them out. The Cliff Notes, in case you have not, they accidentally shipped out stuff, turtle stuff, to customers. I'm trying to make it simple as possible. They shipped out turtle stuff to customers they weren't supposed to, and in turn have decided to threaten people by either banning them from the website or saying that they're going to charge you if you accidentally got it and didn't ship it back. So you've already seen that a lot of your lines have been sitting in stores. Gargoyles, for example. Gargoyles, for all we know, is dead at this point. NECA had no Gargoyle stuff at New York Comic Con this year. When you go to Target, Gargoyles is sitting there collecting dust. So many NECA figures at Walmart are collecting dust. I feel like NECA's on the ropes, and that PR decision they made didn't help any. So going into 2025, NECA needs to find a way to just bring that spark back. They need to find a way to get us interested again, find a way to hit us in the nostalgia again. 1990 movie Turtles, something we never had at all. The toys from back in the day didn't look anything like the movie. They were just turtle figures. So they need to find a way to find a franchise that we like. Golden Girls don't count. Elvira doesn't count. The hardcore nostalgia bait needs to happen on the 80s movies. Either revisit Alien because you have that franchise or that license, revisit Predator with human characters. But I mean, come on, Terminator, you gotta get us some more T2 or T1 Arnold stuff, new stuff, fresh stuff, or just start doing some new franchises. Maybe do an Arnold line. Maybe there's a line where it's like all the Arnold hits. You know, you get a True Lies version, you get a Last Action Hero version. I don't know, but NECA needs to do something because I love the quality of figures here, but especially with this release and with what they've done this year, I'm kind of all set. At the time of this recording, NECA has announced that there is a 3-pack, so a Turtle 3-pack of Mikey, Leo, and Raph from the Last Ronin story in their ghost form. Who would have thought the Last Ronin figures would show form? But alas, there they are on clearance in stores. This 3-pack, to me, is the biggest waste of time I've seen. Because the 3 figures that they've announced, while they look great, and while they're definitely in a ghost form, they don't look like the ghost form versions from the comic book. If anything, you want to recreate the scene where the 3 of them are standing over Mikey as he's meditating, and they all look the same. You can't tell who's who, because at that point in the story, you couldn't tell which turtle was which. Unless you could, but I don't think you could. I think the whole point was it was very ambiguous as to who was who. So that's the version, if you're going to make it, to release. But for a lot of us, when it comes to the Last Ronin figures, you got one and you're all set. You're all set. They immediately did a repaint. They had the white version of the Last Ronin, then they had the red version of the Last Ronin, then they dropped the Naked Turtle version of Last Ronin. That one doesn't even scale to the same size as the other ones. You got the foot soldiers that are too expensive to army build. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. NECA's got to figure it out. They've really got to figure it out. Because as I look at this Tatsu figure, I see the NECA that I love and the NECA that got me into toy collecting. And this figure is absolutely amazing. I think everybody should have it. But when I think about NECA as a whole, as we wrap up this year, and as I wrap up this review, they leave much to be desired. And if I don't buy another NECA figure going forward, sadly, I'm okay with that decision. And I'm okay with where we've gone. But in 2025, I'm hoping things change. So for this past year, NECA, if not for this figure, you would have failed this class. But I'm going to give you a D. You almost got a C minus. But the fact that it took me so long to find this figure, which is more of a Walmart issue, but still, the fact that it took me so long to get this figure, this amazing symbolic figure that looks like JB's toy trunk. It took me so long to get this thing. You're getting a D. And hopefully next year, you find a way to reinvigorate the nostalgia bait that was the 1990 Turtles, that was the Predator figures, and that was Terminator figures. Good morning. Time. Actually, there's a YouTuber, Detours. Time, date, temperature. Thursday, December 11th, 8:04 in the morning. I don't know what the temperature is. Since I recorded this video yesterday, it was a mess. First of all, the mics died mid-recording. Actually, no, 2 minutes in, the mics died. I didn't realize it. So I had to do voiceover on this video. And then after I finished the video, I gave my score. And I was like, oh, let me swap some heads, swap some arms. And I was like, man, this Tatsu figure, it's great. It's great. Yeah, arm broke. I'm over it. And also, NECA released an email yesterday talking about a new reward system. And if you spend, I think it's like $400 a month, you get some sort of discounts. I'll put screenshots here I've seen in the different forums. And then in the fine print, they make sure to say you have to be in good standing with NECA. And one of the things that qualifies as being in good standing is having paid for all merchandise you've received from NECA. They won't drop it. They will not drop it. So I have to revise my score. NECA in 2024, you get an F. An absolute F. F. Terrible. You're being held back. You have to redo this year. Mad Hatter dropped a review last night. Or not review, but Mad Hatter Reviews dropped a preview or something. I don't know what he calls those. Quick video. And he also talked about the turtles that they announced from the last Ronin. And he also used the same screenshot I was talking about. Not like we bit off each other because I haven't dropped this video yet. Like I said, it's 8:07 right now. And I recorded that video before his video came out. But we used like the same exact image. And it's true. Like, cool story, bro, but it's not the turtles from last Ronin. And on top of that, last thing, somebody dropped the screenshot on one of the other, I think in the same NECA forums I'm in, but they dropped a screenshot of the last Ronin turtles, or maybe like Mirage looking turtles, like black and white or something. I don't know. Apparently these are supposed to be like Mirage themed. I don't know how it's tied to the last Ronin, but they were like, where are these turtles at that you guys previewed? So yeah, NECA, you get an F. You're getting left back. You got to redo this year again. You lost your way. In 2024, you've lost your way. Figures breaking, that's nothing new, to be honest. So many of you, General Kenobi, his Lexington broke on the unboxing video he was doing live, which was wild. So I feel it. It's now come to me. I've now experienced the NECA joint break. And you know who never has joint breaks? Hasbro. So, Hasbro, since you also got Super 7 to do your bidding this year, and there's no joint breaks with your product, Super 7 has their own issues, but with your products, you're continuing to show dominance. I'm going to give you did I give you a B plus before? You get a B plus. A minus. I'll give you an A minus for being savages. Also, I talked in the first video about Skeleton Crew. I enjoyed the first two episodes. They were passable. The Star Wars line taking a hit. People don't really care about Star Wars anymore. Episode 3, snoozer. Making me care less about new Star Wars. Not gonna help the toy line. And I don't think that one's Hasbro's fault, to be honest. So that's my video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's been quite a saga. NECA. Looks like a drumstick, right? Or something else. Hey, Archer Live every Thursday, 8:15 p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and let me know down below your scores on NECA, Hasbro, and the other companies. Super 7, Four Horsemen, all of them. And we'll talk about Figure of the Year in another video. Like, comment, subscribe, talk to all you nerds in the next video. It's coffee time. Peace.